The chicken stock video I made a couple of years ago produces the most wonderful stock, but most home cooks find it a bit of a hassle to make on a regular basis for a couple of reasons. It dirties a lot of large pots, bowls, colanders and strainers, and it simmers on the stove for about 4 hours. That long simmer doesn't bother me personally. I'm perfectly happy to go to the gym or go shopping while my stock is simmering on the stove, but apparently not everyone feels this way. My challenge this year was to develop a stock recipe that anyone can make without staying home and without washing more than one pot. My dear reluctant stock makers, may I present to you Instant Pot Stock. Brown stock is made out of roasted chicken. It is brown in color and has a deep, meaty flavor. Blonde stock is made out of raw chicken. It is clear in color and has a mild, clean flavor. Both stocks are wonderful, but the brown stock is more versatile. Both stocks could be used in any soup. But when it comes to pan sauces, the blonde chicken stock will only serve you well for chicken dishes, while brown stock will be a perfect companion to chicken, duck, beef, pork, lamb, and game. Let me show you the difference between the stock you can buy in the store and the real deal. Here is my stock reduced about 6 times. It is like Jell-O and gives my sauces fabulous body. Here is 365 brand stock from Whole Foods, reduced 6 times. It is still liquid after refrigeration and tastes sickeningly sweet and salty. I did start with low sodium stock, but after sufficient reduction, even that becomes too salty. And even if you find a salt-free stock, you're still stuck with the fact that it has no body. So don't let the words like organic, free range and low sodium fool you. But now you no longer have to buy this boxed crap. You can make your own stock with about 20 minutes of active time. Let's coarsely chop 1 carrot and 1 celery rib and cut 1 yellow onion in half. To eliminate the need for a big strainer, set the steaming insert into your Instant Pot. Add the carrot, celery and onion. It's okay if some pieces fall through. Lucky for us, Whole Foods sells salt-free rotisserie chickens. This will save us a lot of time and cleanup. The chicken needs to be salt-free, otherwise your stock might be too salty after you reduce it. Break up your chicken and add to the pot. My Instant Pot has a 6-quart capacity, which fits 1 chicken. During the cooking time, the collagen from the connective tissue, cartilage and bones will convert to gelatin, giving our stock that awesome body. All parts of the chicken are loaded with collagen except for the breasts. If you can find another use for the breasts, save them. I find that the breasts from store-bought rotisserie chickens are too dry to use for salads and sandwiches, so I put them in my stock. But if you roast your own parts for stock, only buy legs, wings and backs. And of course, don't forget to add all the jelly from the bottom of the container. That's stock right there. Add a few sprigs of thyme, a bay leaf, and 8 cups of water. Set the insert into the Instant Pot and lock the lid. Press pressure cook. On older models, it might be called manual. Set the time for 1 hour and 30 minutes. You can use plus and minus to adjust the time. If the keep warm setting turns on automatically, turn it off. And you're done. You can do whatever you want for the next 6 to 9 hours. Go to work, go to sleep, whatever. In case you're around when the 1.5-hour countdown is over, do not open the pot. Let the pressure drop naturally, which can easily take an extra hour. I left my stock completely alone for 8 hours, and when I opened the pot and took the temperature of my stock, it was at 130 Fahrenheit. In case you are worried about food safety, let me put your fears to rest. First of all, no bacteria can grow at temperatures above 130 Fahrenheit. Second of all, we just killed all the bacteria, right? Because we cooked the stock. So until you open the lid, you're not introducing any new bacteria, and it's perfectly fine to just let your stock sit and cool in a sealed pot. Once the stock is no longer hot, place the cooking insert close to the sink and get a plate ready in the sink. I use a paper plate. Remove the chicken onto the plate and let it sit for a few minutes. Take a large slotted spoon, I like to use this spider spoon, and fish out the remaining big solids. Then take a fine mesh spoon and stir the pot in one direction. Then turn the spoon in the opposite direction and catch whatever swims into it. Don't sweat every speck unless you work in a Michelin-starred restaurant. Pour the stock that accumulated on the plate into the pot. I know I just used a lot of specialty spoons, but they are very cheap, small, and can easily go into a dishwasher after a quick rinse. I'll link to all the weird equipment that I used below the video. I throw away the chicken because it does not taste good, but it's totally up to you what to do with it. Put the stock in the fridge overnight or for up to 5 days. Chilling the stock will make it a lot easier to degrease it. I love my fine mesh spoon for this. See how the stock goes through it, but the fat doesn't? If you don't have a fine mesh strainer spoon, a regular spoon will work too. And don't forget the fat on the walls. I use a little spoon to scrape it off and then wipe the walls with a paper towel. At this point, your stock is ready to use. You can keep it in the fridge for about a week or freeze it indefinitely. But I never ever store it this way. I always reduce it. There are two big benefits to reducing your stock. The first is that it makes it much more compact, so it doesn't take up as much room in your fridge or freezer. The second reason is that it defrosts a lot faster if you have to defrost a small amount rather than a large amount. When I make pan sauces, I throw a frozen cube of stock into the skillet and 5 minutes later, I have a sauce. If your stock wasn't already reduced, the sauce would take way too long. How much time you have to make a pan sauce depends on what you just seared or roasted. If it's a whole roast chicken, sure, you have at least 20 minutes to reduce your sauce to a syrupy consistency. But what if you just seared a thin steak or pork chop? Well, then you only have about 5 minutes. And that's where having your stock already reduced before starting to make a pan sauce really helps. To save dishes, I'm going to reduce my stock right in the Instant Pot, but you can speed it up by using a skillet on the stovetop. Press the sauté button. If high wasn't automatically selected, press the sauté button several times until you get to high. Don't put the lid on the pot to allow water to evaporate. After 30 minutes of cooking, your Instant Pot will shut off automatically and beep to let you know. At least mine does that. Press the sauté button again and cook your stock for another 30 minutes, and then you'll probably be done. At least if you started with about 8 cups of stock and if you have the same model of Instant Pot that I do. I don't care exactly how reduced my stock is, but if you want a rough idea, use a spoon to measure its depth before and after reducing. If your pot has straight sides and you started with 2 inches and ended up with half an inch, that means you reduced it 4 times. Obviously, I've reduced it more than that because I only have a quarter of an inch left. This is just over 1 cup, though normally I aim for 2 cups in the end. I did keep it on sauté function for 1 hour and 20 minutes. That's why I'm guessing that 1 hour would have been sufficient. But in the end of the day, how much you reduce your stock doesn't really matter because water can always be added and subtracted. If I'll be using this stock for a sauce, it will become syrupy very quickly. If I'll be using it for a soup, I'll add 5 to 7 parts of water to 1 part of stock, depending on how intense I want my soup to be. Cool your stock to warm and divide between containers or ice cube trays. This is my last chance to get rid of solids, so I'm pouring my stock through a little strainer. By the way, if you're using this stock just to drink out of a cup or to use in a soup, you will need to season it with salt after you reconstitute it with water. If you're using it in a pan sauce, you might not need any salt at all because the brown bits in the pan are usually plenty salty. Once your stock freezes, you can cut it into cubes. Because of all the gelatin, it will be way softer than regular ice. If you were using an ice cube tray, move all the cubes to a Ziploc bag after they freeze. Next week, we are making French onion soup. This will be a great chance for me to show you how to reconstitute this stock. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell button for notifications. If you have any questions or if you make this stock and have feedback for me, don't forget to start your comment with #RealComment. Here's some more in-depth cooking tutorials for you to check out, and if you are ever in the Boston area, maybe I'll see you in one of my classes.